Hey guys, I'm William from House by the Video Store, and in this video blog, I'll be talking about the new TV series Slasher, which you can now watch on Netflix Watch Instant. It was originally aired on Chiller in the US, and it was a co-production with Super Channel in Canada, which is where it aired there. And this will be a spoiler-free discussion. I'm not going to discuss anything that's not in the first 10 minutes of the show, just general stuff to give you an idea of my recommendation and my overall thoughts on it. This show was written by Aaron Martin, directed by Craig David Wallace, and stars Katie McGrath as Sarah. And it's a slasher show somewhat in the same vein as MTV's Scream, which came out recently as well, or Fox's Scream Queens. The premise for them all is just kind of that 20 or 30 years ago in the past, there is a mysterious murder or death that comes back to haunt the children involved with that, in the present day. In the case of Scream, it was about high school students. In the case of Scream Queens, it was about college students. Slasher is about adults, which makes it a little bit different because they're not dealing with school or anything of that nature. So the basic idea behind this show is that it's kind of just a straight slasher story. There's not any subversion of tropes, really. It's not a meta commentary, something like Scream. It's not doing anything super new. It's just a competently told slasher story that unfolds over the course of 8 episodes, which I actually like that it was 8 episodes instead of 10 or 12 or 15 because it seemed like it was pretty lean and they weren't searching for storylines to waste a few episodes on. It seemed like it was all the episodes mattered. They kept moving the story forward. In this show, there are a number of kills. There's at least one per episode, and the gore is pretty good. There's some good practical effects. One thing that was a tiny bit distracting to me was that there were some instances of CG blood and gore. And I guess the TV show, that just kind of comes with the territory due to the shooting schedules and the budgets. Because another show that I liked a lot, Ash vs. Evil Dead, did that as well. And, working on some short films recently, we almost used some CG blood, but decided to find the time to reshoot a special effects scene. So I understand why they had to do it. It just kind of sticks out when you see CG blood and effects mixed with some of the practical stuff. But there's a killer who is called the Executioner that had killed some people in the past, and there's someone new taking up that mantle, killing people in the future, and the main character, Sarah, has to sort out what all of it means and find out all the backstory and everything. The slasher elements, I think it's well done. Like I said, it's a competently told slasher story. It's much more straightforward than Scream Queens, and it's a much better, horror experience. And I think it's a much more competently, acted and shot show than MTV Scream. Because although I, found some stuff to enjoy in that show, this is just a much more straightforward show. I really like the lighting on it. I mean, like I said, it's shot well and it looks good. So I think, as far as these slasher shows that have come out, I think this is probably my favorite. Granted, I didn't care too much for the other two. Scream Queens, I thought, started out well, but then it kind of faltered, and I didn't really care much for the way it ended. MTV Scream was just kind of boring in the middle, and then it came to a very cliched conclusion. This show, I think, keeps up a pretty good beat throughout. And if you are looking for a horror show to watch, and you want something that's straight horror, not kind of a genre combination or, something aimed at teens, I think that this is definitely something you should check out. Like I said, there's only 8 episodes. If you watch the first one and you like it, then, I don't really think the quality dips. I think it actually gets more interesting as it goes along, so it's probably worth sticking with. Like I said, 8 episodes, that's still a number of hours to invest in a show, but it's nothing like trying to catch up with 8 seasons of a show. And if they make new seasons of this show, they will do new stories. So it won't be taking the same story and stretching it out. Each season will be its own contained story, somewhat similar to what American Horror Story does. And in terms of the performances, the main character is Katie McGrath as Sarah. I think she did a great job, and it's not, a final girl, really. She's a much more active participant in the story, moving things along and actually, defending herself. So they have a, lead performance from her that I think is strong. It's not just all the stereotypical stuff you see from a lot of the slasher movies and, some of these other shows. So I think that, her performance is good. They have a good, supporting cast of characters, people that you don't, like I said, some of the stuff on MTV Scream I didn't really care for. I think that the acting here is much stronger. They don't have the actors that are as well known as Scream Queens with Jamie Lee Curtis and Emma Roberts and all the other people involved. But I think everyone here does a solid job. And I think out of all the slasher shows, that have come out recently, I think that this is the best pure horror show out of those. And, you can try to compare it to something like Bates Motel or Hannibal or Ash vs. Evil Dead. This is a much different show from those. Like I said, it's kind of just a straightforward slasher. There aren't really a lot of other elements mixed in with it. So if you're looking for a slasher series, or you're looking to watch something that's horror-based, that's not too huge of a time investment, but, has a few episodes to watch, I would definitely recommend taking a look at this show. I enjoyed it. And hopefully they make some more seasons of this and we get to see where it goes, because I definitely feel a little bit more promise for this than I do for something like MTV Scream, which is aimed at a little bit younger audience. Like I said, this one focusing on adults, at least in season 1, was a nice change of pace. Even though a lot of those shows cast people who are, adults and have them play teens or whatever, but they actually had adult characters dealing with, their jobs and their careers. So that was a little bit of a good change of pace from what we've been seeing so far from the slasher shows. So like I said, I recommend taking a look at it. If you enjoy the pilot, then I recommend sticking with it. And if you don't, like I said, I still think it was better done than some of the other recent horror shows, but I enjoyed it. And that kind of sums up everything I had to say about the show. So like I said, let us know what you think. If you've watched it and you liked it, didn't like it, let us know in the comments. If there are some other shows you think we should check out that we haven't talked about before, let us know. And you can find all the stuff we're doing at housebythevideostore.com, and you can see links to everything we got there, to all of our social media accounts, everything like that. That'll bring this video blog to a close. Thanks for watching.